Hey everyone, today I have a light that in my opinion might be the best that ThruNite's ever put out. Don't go anywhere, you're watching Living Survival. So today I have a brand new light from ThruNite. This is the TC12 USB rechargeable flashlight. Now I have several other USB rechargeable flashlights from other brands, and we're going to take a look at some of the differences in a moment. The TC12 has your typical 1000 lumen 18650 size to it with some knurling on the back, knurling in the middle. Has a very nice mode button. It's got a very nice click to it when you turn the light on and off and switch through the modes. It does have a tail clicky wheel tail stand, which is nice, and a nice pocket clip. The TC12 runs the Cree XPL V6 LED, the same as the Archer 1A V2, another light that I really like from ThruNite. It pumps out 1000 lumens with a max range of 274 meters. And what's most impressive is ThruNite says the max mode will run for 2 hours and 45 minutes, which is the longest run time between similar flashlights. As I said, it has a very nice mode button to it with a very nice click, and your typical tail switch clicky, which you can use to also momentary the light. Operation is similar to what you're used to. You can either momentary the tail clicky or you can depress it fully to turn the light on. Then you simply just change through your brightness levels using the mode button. It does have a very nice low moonlight mode and then on up to several different brightnesses, including turbo. You can hold the light down and that will put you into its one special mode, which is strobe. It does have memory, so when you turn the light off, it's going to come back on to the brightness that you last left it on. On the flip side of the mode button, you do have the USB recharge port, and of course it is a nice micro USB, making it perfect for use when charging from a solar panel or a USB battery bank. So let's take a look at a few other single 18650 lights and see how the ThruNite stacks up. Now this is the ThruNite TC12. On the left here we have a couple Olights, a couple EGTACs, a Nikkor, and a Phoenix. Now if we get rid of the 18650s that are not USB rechargeable, we can take those two out there, and then we're left with these 5 lights that I've tested. All have similar size reflectors, different LEDs, but all take a single 18650 and are USB rechargeable. They also all pump out around 1000 lumens. There's a few that don't. We can take the Phoenix UC35 out of there. Although it's similar in shape, it doesn't have quite the throw at 200 meters as opposed to the 274 of the ThruNite. It also doesn't have the lumens. This one runs at about 960 lumens. So we can take that out of the mix there. The Olight S30 R version 2 only has a throw of 160 meters, although it is a 1000 lumen light. So we can take that one out of there. That has to do with the LED that's in it. And then we have a couple left here that are probably most similar to the TC12. The EGTAC DX30 has more lumens at 1160 and more of a throw at 288. So that one would be a little bit brighter, a little bit smaller than the ThruNite. So the most similar light that I have to the ThruNite is one of my favorite Nikkor lights, the MH12. Both 1000 lumen lights, both single 18650, and both rechargeable via a micro USB. You can see they're very, very similar in profile. They have knurling at the same spots there, and then the reflector size is very similar as well. So because of a different LED in these two, even though they're both 1000 lumen, both single 18650, the ThruNite TC12 has an XPL V6 LED at 1000 lumens at 274 meters and a 2 hour and 45 minute runtime. Now I'm going to do some additional testing on this light to make sure it does run for 2 hours and 45 minutes on high. The Nikkor MH12 runs an XM-L2U2 1000 lumens at 232. So a little bit shorter distance here, and I'm going to take both of these out and compare once it gets dark. Only an hour 15 minute runtime on high on the Nikkor. So another thing I like to do is shine the light at the wall. Now no, this isn't going to give me any fancy lumen rating or anything like that. I simply do it to see the hot spots in the light. As you can see, this one has a sort of a subtle hot spot in the middle, or a dead spot, I guess is what you could call it. But when you compare these with other lights, it becomes pretty apparent which one's going to throw further and what type of beam they have. So for example, I can throw this EGTAC light on the right here, and you can see that it has a much more defined spot, meaning it's going to probably throw a little bit further as long as the brightness is the same. You can see there's a different tint to the light as well. Here again, you can see the differences between the ThruNite on the left and the Phoenix on the right. Now it doesn't really matter which brightness level you put on it, it's going to give you a good indication of your beam and your throw. Even if we go up in the different brightness levels, I'm able to quickly see what kind of tint the light has, and also what throw I think it's going to be able to achieve outside at night. Here we can see the differences between the ThruNite on the left and the Olight S30R2 on the right. Like I said, all pretty similar in lumens and pretty similar in their amount of throw. And then we have the light that I think is probably most similar, the Nikkor MH12, which is my favorite rechargeable, on the right. You can see that the beams are pretty similar, even when we go up in brightness here. Now in order to charge the light, you do have to have it on the ThruNites, and once it's on, you just go ahead and plug in your cable, the light will go off, and then you'll get a charging status indicator on the front mode button. When the light's on, the mode button will also give you a status of the capacity. If it's green, solid green, it means you have greater than 20%. If it turns red, it means you're below 20%, 10 to 20%, and if you get below 10%, the red light will actually flash. So when you're charging it, it'll blink, and when it's fully charged, it'll go to a solid green. Alright, so let's take a look at the different modes here. This is the Firefly mode, which is 0.4 lumens. A lot of people like that setting on the ThruNites for the, they call it Firefly. Then we can step up a notch and go into 28 lumens. Pretty decent amount of light there. We can go one more notch up into probably my favorite lumen mode, 180. Good mode for all around use. Then step up one more to 640. This is where you will begin to reach out. You can see it's just touching those trees about 50 yards away. So there is our turbo mode, and it's pretty foggy, so it's hard to see how far the beam reaches. Alright, so first I'm just going to point it out about 50 yards. So there is the ThruNite. There is the Nikkor. And we'll go out about 100 yards. That's the ThruNite. And that is the Nikkor. And we can take a look right in front of us. This is the ThruNite and the Nikkor. There is the strobe mode. Pretty typical strobe. So I'd say they're definitely very similar in their modes and their lumens. I don't necessarily think the ThruNite has any more throw than the Nikkor, and it remains to be seen if it has really an over 2-hour battery life, which I think was probably a typo. Now in the instructions it says it'll run on turbo at 1000 lumens for 2.6 hours, which is 2 hours and 36 minutes, and high on 640 lumens for 2.5 hours, which is 2 hours and 30 minutes. So by this you actually get 6 more minutes at 1000 lumens than you do at 640 lumens, which makes no sense to me. So I'm going to test the max runtime on its highest mode, the turbo mode. And that is what the light is set on now. I have it in the refrigerator just so it doesn't overheat, and I give the light the best chance to show me the runtime. So the light has now been on for 2 hours and 9 minutes and counting. They say it has a 2 hour and 36 minute runtime on turbo, which, if that proves to be correct, is an awesome runtime on an 18650 at 1000 lumens. So I was pretty impressed at the runtime at first, and then it dawned on me that the turbo may have gone down to high. So when I pulled it out at 2 hours and 36 minutes, it indeed was only on high and not on turbo. As you can see, the ThruNite is on high on the left, and the Nicore is on turbo on the right. Alright, so I replaced the battery with a fresh 3400 milliamp ThruNite battery, the one that was originally in it, and fully charged. And I'm going to do the test again, but this time I'm going to watch and see when it shuts down from turbo down to high, and then that'll give me the actual runtime of the turbo. So this time doing it again, it has been 49 minutes so far, and the light is still on turbo. So I was worried that it would time out after like 5 minutes or something, but it does actually stay on turbo. So I'll just have to watch it closer than I was watching it in the refrigerator to see the actual turbo time. Alright, so it has been an hour and 44 minutes, so it has dimmed down to high, giving it a turbo runtime in between 1 hour and 35 minutes and 1 hour and 45 minutes. A lot less than the 2 hours and 36 minutes that they state. So it's quite similar to the Nicore's runtime of around an hour and a half. So I think you guys will agree this is a pretty great light from ThruNite. I'm very picky when it comes to flashlights, especially with brands that just pump out lights to anyone and everybody that has a channel. This light will run $70. I'm going to put some links below to where you can find it on Amazon as well as purchase one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Please give it a big thumbs up for me. Make sure you leave me some comments below on what you think about the TC12. Lights are getting better and better every single day. Make sure you share this video to your friends and family who might be interested. You can also follow me on my social media. The links are in the description. Please, if you haven't already done so, click that red subscribe button and subscribe to my channel for more videos.